Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome to the Expedition. In this episode, we continue in Kyoto with a fantastic mix of topics. From food and shopping to arts and crafts, a little bit of everything that I'm sure you're going to love. Yatta! The word hashiri in Japanese, it means running. In traditional Japanese culture, it is also used to describe the very first harvest or early availability of seasonal items. It's a term that is synonymous with freshness and conveys a certain premium or prestige. Foods in the hashiri stage can be more expensive because they're often in limited supply and highly anticipated. At Nishiki Market, the term has been passed down through the generations and is taken to mean the first arrival of fish. This is because some time ago, when the first fish were caught on the Katsura River and delivered to its landing place, they would then be carried by couriers who would run as fast as they could to Nishiki Market to provide the city market with the first and freshest fish of the day. You know what? I can appreciate that. And please take note, this next segment is likely to induce both hunger and a strong desire to travel to Japan. You've been warned.
In downtown Kyoto, west of the well-known historical Teramachi Street, is Nishiki Market. This famous market street is a narrow arcade running approximately 400 meters long. It's a bit smaller and a little bit less noisy than other Asian food markets, but a bit more charming too. Often referred to as Kyoto's kitchen, this thriving market is known for its large variety of food and delicacies. Take your pick of the specialties this market has to offer. One of the great things about the market is almost everything sold at the market is locally produced. The market is reported to have existed as early as the year 782 as a fish and meat storage hub and wholesaler. This was made possible due to the cold groundwater available in the area, which allowed them to keep fish fresh, and to this day still supports businesses. The cold groundwater, as well as its close proximity to Kyoto's Imperial Palace, made the area an ideal site. The underground water at Nishiki Market stays at a constant 15 to 18 degrees all year round, and it's said to be the market's lifeblood. The locals call it Nishiki no Mizu, and it's well known, if not famous, in the area. Traditionally, each store in Nishiki Market had two wells that utilized this famous water. These wells were often referred to as the gold and the silver well. The gold wells were used for business functions like storing live fish, and named so because they brought money in, while the silver wells were used for drinking and washing. In the year 1054, the emperor changed the name of the street from Gosuku to its present-day name. Gosuku being the Japanese word for a complete set of armor, and the street had this name because it was one of the main locations where one would remove their armor and helmet before entering the Imperial Palace grounds. Records indicate that by the year 1311, Nishiki Market had several fish stores active. In 1615, it was officially recognized as a fish market by the Edo shogunate. In 1770, it was authorized to be a street vending market for green groceries. And in 1771, a rival market had caused the local magistrate's office to stop the green grocery street vending of 5 other markets. The head of the district, Yokouchi, worked hard to ensure the survival and prosperity of Nishiki Market and avoided the rival market schemes. After the Meiji Restoration in 1883, the privileges of merchant guilds and fish wholesalers were abolished, and the market became extremely chaotic, causing the number of large stores in Nishiki Market to drop to only 7. The ups and downs of the market continued in 1911, when Nishiki Market was revitalized with the formation of the Kinsuke Merchants Association, only to once again lose much of its growth in 1927 when many of its stores relocated to the newly established Kyoto Central Wholesale Market, Japan's very first central wholesale market. In 1928, things picked up again when the Kinsuke Association was established and promoted Nishiki Market with shops selling fruit, vegetables, meat, and other groceries. It's at this time that the market known as Nishiki Market became known as Kyoto's Kitchen. That was almost 100 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't show the power of advertising, I don't know what does. In 1993, the new pillarless arcade was constructed into what is evident today, the red, yellow, and green roof that has become an icon and symbol of Nishiki Market. Some of the more notable shops in Nishiki Market include the Japanese knife and cooking utensil producer and store Aritsugu. Founded by the swordsmith Fujiwara Aritsugu in 1560, they are one of the oldest knife makers in Japan. Originally they produced swords for the imperial house, but with the peace brought on by the Tokugawa shogunate in the 17th century, they pivoted into making specialist knives used to cut statues of Buddha. In the late 19th century, during the Meiji Restoration era, they used their extensive experience in blade production to meet demand in the emerging market of kitchen knives and utensils, which they continue to make to this day. Their main store moved to Nishiki Market in 1781, with the current owner being the 18th generation to be involved in running the store. Kimura Fresh Fish Shop also dates back about 400 years. They purchase large quantities of fish to sell wholesale to caterers and traditional Japanese restaurants. The shop at Nishiki provides an excellent opportunity to enjoy the same quality fish as the high-end restaurants and at a better price. Some specialty foods to try when you're here at Nishiki Market are Teiko Tamago, baby octopus with a quail's egg inside the head. It's a sweet and salty dish that's well worth a try. Furikake is basically rice flavoring or topping and can be made with a mixture of dried seaweed, sugar, salt, chili, sesame seeds, dried fish, dried miso, dried fish flakes, to just name a few. Pickled vegetables or tsukemono, which come in a wide variety of flavors and colors. Just like Japanese sweets or wagashi. Generally served with tea, they're designed to represent the seasons or elements of nature. There's also plenty of Japanese alcohol to be had, from rice wine to plum wine and local craft beers. Freshly grilled seafood is to had everywhere here. On the eastern side of the market lies the Nishiki Tenmangū shrine. It has moved a few times since it was originally built, over 1,000 years ago, but currently resides in Nishiki.
So, about the Tenmangū footage, So that's why I don't have any footage of this shrine. Crazy story, right?
Easily spotted by the many soft glowing lanterns hung at its entrance, it's said that the kami or deity Tenjin, the god of learning, is enshrined here, so it's a popular place for students and academics to pray at, especially come test time. If you need a bit of special help with something, you can buy a Daigum Umi, a plum of great wishes. It's a little round amulet where you can write a wish inside and add it to the tree there in the hopes that it comes to fruition, just like real plums. Otherwise you can pat the Nari Ushi, the rubbing cow. Shinto shrines often have these Nari Ushi cows lying down. They're known as healing statues, and people will rub the corresponding parts of the cow's body that they need help with to pass on their pains to the statue. Sore feet? Rub its feet. Personally, I gave its lower back a good rub, you know? Or maybe you want to rub its belly in the hopes of a safe pregnancy. It's said that rubbing the head of the cow at Tenmangū Shrine will grant wisdom. There's also a natural spring here of the famous Nishiki no Mizu. It's said it's actually tested yearly to be free of bacteria, smell, or unpleasant flavor, and certified safe to drink. You can see locals come here often to bottle it up and take it home.
And now that we've satisfied the appetite, it feels like the perfect time to feed the mind. And what better way to do that than by rolling up our sleeves for a hands-on craft experience, one that introduces us to one of Japan's most refined traditional arts and the visionary artisan who started it all.
Marumasu Nishimuraya is a renowned Japanese workshop centrally located in downtown Kyoto and established in 1905. This long, narrow alleyway style of Japanese house is called unagi no nodoko, which can be translated to eel bed, and it's unique to Kyomachiya. This architectural style was developed over time to make the best and most efficient use of the limited space available in central Kyoto. This structure you see now was built in the early 1920s, so it's about 100 years old. To make better use of its available space, it was renovated in the year 2000, using mainly traditional construction techniques. Machiya is a term for traditional Japanese wooden townhouses, while Kiyomachiya is a term that refers specifically to traditional wooden townhouses in the central district of Kyoto. Marumasu Nishimuraya offers cultural craft workshops which are conducted in a Kiyomachiya, which I think provides for a more immersive cultural experience. The workshop offers classes and activities in a number of traditional Japanese crafts. For example, you can do chopstick making, where you shave and dye some of Kyoto's fragrant Kitayama cedar, and then decorate a small chopsticks bag for them to go into. Or you can try your hand at Furoshiki Wrapping, where you can learn some of the countless convenient ways to use a furoshiki, which basically is a square piece of fabric that can be folded and tied in multiple ways to transport, cover, and even gift wrap something in a very eco-friendly and convenient way that dates back over 1200 years ago. There is also a shoe studio on site that offers workshops and hands-on classes shoes and bags. There's the store called Mayu, which features handcrafted products that blend traditional Kyoto styles with modern designs, making it a great place to find unique souvenirs. And once you're ready for a break, you can get a coffee at the Rojioku Garden 168 Cafe. They also offer an open-zai lunch, which is a Kyoto-style meal that has many side dishes and delicious native Kyoto vegetable. And once you're done in the coffee shop, there is also the small Mahora Gallery on site that hosts exhibitions. But today, I'm here to participate in a hands-on workshop to experience the famous Kyo-Yūzen dyeing technique that has been passed down for 350 years. From pencil cases and handkerchiefs to shoulder bags, bands and t-shirts. As you can see, there are many different items available to choose from, with the price being dependent on the size and complexity of the item. The price isn't just for the item, but for the use of the workshop, the stencils and the dyes. Not to mention also having someone there that not only explains and shows you how to do everything, but is there to help you at every stage if you need it.
So, please take out the sample and all of the brown stencil paper. So, for example, this one's 5 layers, so you need all 5 layers.
Though there are many different kinds of Kyo-Yūzen dyeing, there are 2 main categories: hand-painted Yūzen and stencil Yūzen. Here at Marumasu Nishimuraya, you will experience a kind of stencil Yūzen known as Tsurukomi Yūzen, which is a technique that uses stencils and paintbrushes to paint dye directly onto the fabric. For today, not wanting to show off my extensive painting skills, I decided to choose a simple tote bag. After choosing your item, you need to choose what designs you're going to use to decorate it with. There's over 3,000 different stencil designs available, so you have quite a bit of choice.
So, this little bit of paint, you will wipe it on your paper towel just once, and your paper towel you can find on your right. Then, with the brush, you will keep it upright, and on top of where you put the paint, you will make circles. Circles, 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 circles. You will add a little bit of pressure to your brush to make sure the paint goes into the brush. So just make circles, 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 circles. And you might think, okay, I'm good to go, but now the brush is still actually a bit too wet, so because if you start now, it will bleed through the stencil, and that's not what we want. So, we will wipe off the excess paint a little bit, like so. Try to do it from all the angles until actually it's almost dry and you can barely see the dye in the brush. And then on top of the stencil, you will do the same thing. Upright and circles. Upright and circles. And you can already see the color slowly.
The general gist of it is, you apply the brush with your chosen colored dye to the stencil using a swirling motion and gradually fill in the whole stencil. You can use different colors, and after finishing one layer, proceed to the next. After you finish all the layers, your stencil is finished. You can call it quits, or do another stencil in the available space on your item.
Circle, 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 circles. Keep your brush upright, wipe off.
Now, while I make my masterpiece, let me tell you about the history of the Kyo-Yūzen dyeing technique. Generally speaking, the history of Japanese dyeing dates back to the dawn of Japanese culture of the Nara period of 710 to 794, and since then it has continually developed. Kyo-Yuzen dyeing was created in Kyoto during the Genroku era of the Edo period from 1688 to 1704, which, on a side note, is widely considered to be the golden age of the Edo period. The technique was created by an artist called Miyazaki Yuzen, who painted fans for a living. Miyazaki's artistic work on folding fans inspired him in the development of his dyeing technique. By using a rice paste mix, he was able to decorate his fans with several colors. Miyazaki Yuzen's fan designs became so popular that a book called the Yuzen Hinagata was published in 1688, showing similar patterns applied to Kosode, the predecessor of the kimono. It's said that he developed the technique and its application to kimonos in response to bans being imposed that prohibited extravagant clothing, such as those with gold gauze and embroidery. These laws against luxury were enforced by the shogunate, and its constraints prompted the artisans of the time to innovate. Essentially, Kyo-Yuzen dyeing is a Japanese resist dyeing technique where dyes are applied inside outlines of rice paste resist, known as etomi nuri, so that the paste keeps the dye areas separated. And with this technique he perfected, and his artistic skills, it's said that he quickly made a name for himself in the kimono design scene of Kyoto. The technique provided a means to create beautiful textiles without violating the prohibitions of the time. Initially, the technique was used to create hand-painted designs on kimono fabrics, and with this, colorful yet elegant kimonos began to come into vogue, which led the way for kimonos with intricate patterns and vibrant colors taking center stage. And through this, Kyo-Yuzen dyeing began to become synonymous with the creation of exquisite kimonos. So let me clarify something. So while both Kyo-Yuzen and Yuzen refer to Japanese textile dyeing techniques, Kyo-Yuzen is a specific style of Yuzen dyeing that originated in Kyoto, while Yuzen is the broader term encompassing various styles and techniques, saying that it is said that the Kyo-Yuzen technique is the origin of all Yuzen dyeing. In the 18th century of the Edo period, as it gained further popularity, Kyo-Yuzen became deeply intertwined with cultural and economic developments as Kyoto's merchant culture flourished, and it became a preferred method for creating elaborate kimono design. See, before the innovation of Kyo-Yuzen, fabric dyeing in Japan was relatively limited in design flexibility. With the Yuzen technique, freehand drawing techniques were possible, which allowed for more expressive and colorful patterns, completely revolutionizing the Japanese textile industry and making Kyoto a center for artistic dyeing. As Kyo-Yuzen continued to gain popularity, it became highly sought after by both the aristocracy and the samurai class. Over time, artisans refined the process, incorporating elements such as stencil dyeing, hand painting, and gold leaf detailing. The Meiji period marked another important phase in Kyo-Yuzen's evolution. The introduction of chemical dyes expanded the color palette, making the technique even more versatile and leading to the development of the stencil dyeing method known as Kata-Yuzen. This innovation allowed for mass production, ensuring that Kyo-Yuzen could reach a wider audience without compromising its beauty or quality. In modern times, Kyo-Yūzen remains a symbol of Kyoto's traditional craftsmanship and continues to be highly valued. While it is still widely used in creating kimono and obi. An obi is a sash or belt, typically made of silk or brocade. Contemporary artisans have adapted the technique to various other forms such as scarves, accessories, and general decorative artworks. In 1976, Kyo-Yūzen was designated as a traditional craft by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, highlighting its cultural significance. Today, the technique has branched into two primary methods: hand-painted Yūzen, which is Tagaki Yūzen, and stencil Yūzen, known as Kata Yūzen. Hand-painted Yūzen is highly valued for its unique, one-of-a-kind creations, where designs are drawn by hand using a brush. In contrast, stencil Yūzen uses paper stencils to apply designs, allowing for mass production while maintaining its intricate patterns. Yūzen continues to evolve, with artisans balancing traditional methods with modern adaptations to ensure its continued stylistic relevance. And Kyo-Yūzen remains a testament to the artistry of Kyoto's textile industry, whether in traditional kimono or modern adaptations. To this day, this dyeing technique continues to represent Japan's rich cultural heritage. And by visiting Marumasu Nishimuraya, I can say that I too have gained an appreciation for the artistry of Kyo-Yūzen.
Overall, I spent about 2 hours dyeing my tote bag, and honestly, I found the price to be more than fair for the experience, which I loved. Not only do you get a hands-on experience with a traditional Japanese craft, but you come away with something deeply personal, something you have made yourself, infused with your own creativity. It's the kind of experience that lingers long after the trip is over and made even more special when shared with loved ones or friends. Now, with our senses still tuned to the artistic, we head into Kyoto's contemporary art scene. Tucked away in the quiet lanes of the Higashiyama district is the Kyoto Museum of Photography. Modest in size, but expansive in vision, it opened in 2017 with a singular focus: the art of photography, both Japanese and international. Unlike larger institutions, it features a tightly curated, rotating exhibition program that often pairs traditional techniques with cutting-edge contemporary art. Housed in a beautifully restored Machiya townhouse, the building itself is a nod to Kyoto's architectural heritage, blending history and modernity with a quiet sophistication, much like the photographs displayed on its walls.
When I visited, two distinct exhibitions were on display, each occupying a separate floor and offering a very different experience. On the first floor, we have the Hana exhibition by Yasuo Kiyonaga. It's a body of work centered on the transient beauty of flowers. Kiyonaga, a veteran photographer and publisher, is known for exploring quiet, almost meditative themes in his imagery. The photos in Hana weren't just botanical in nature, they're reflections in time, memory, and decay, evoking the traditional Japanese aesthetic of mono no aware, also known as the gentle sadness of things. It's a sentiment in Japanese culture for the awareness of impermanence and suggests appreciation for both the beauty and the sadness of things passing. The exhibition information describes the Hana series as Kiyonaga's exploration of the beauty and hidden energy of flowers. He photographs flowers in everyday situations and combines them with his own unique painted images. By adding his own perspective to this everyday landscape, he is able to sublimate not only the inherent beauty of flowers, but also the messages and energy he senses of them into art. What stood out for me was the wonderful use of vivid colours, something I personally appreciate in art. But with the abundance of colours came a sense with them somehow being subdued, which was another factor that was noticeable. Upstairs, the second floor features Beyond Time, a retrospective exhibition of Katsuji Yokouchi's work. Born in 1902 into a well-to-do farming family, he taught himself photography in an era where cameras were rare in rural Japan, and began capturing everyday life using glass plate negatives and a field camera. Passing away in 1936 at the early age of 33, he was forgotten in the turbulent history of the time, and his work lay unrealized and dormant. His discovery began decades later when a trove of his glass plate negatives was found during an attic renovation of his former home in 2005, which led to his first solo exhibition in 2015, honoring his work almost 80 years after his death. He has become known in Kyoto's local art scene for his commitment to preserving a sense of place, memory, and the fleeting quality of human presence throughout his work. What makes this museum especially noteworthy is its curatorial boldness. With limited space, every exhibition has to be deliberate, and they frequently highlight voices that might otherwise be overlooked in larger, more commercial venues. The museum serves as a quiet counterpoint to the busy spots of Kyoto. It's a place of visual stillness, contemplation, and thought. If you're visiting Kyoto and looking for a moment of quiet insight between temples and tea houses, the Kyoto Museum of Photography is free and offers just that. A pause for reflection, framed in light and shadow.
And that's it for the 4th episode of the Dan Expedition, also known, well, at least to me, as our expedition. I hope you're enjoying things, and please don't hesitate to leave any feedback in the comments here or in any of the episodes. If there's anything you'd like to say or share, I would love to hear it. I'll see you next time. This is Dan from the Dan Expedition, or Our Expedition, signing out.
Down Nishiki Market at the moment, and I've seen the biggest oysters I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna have to try one. Walking through Nishiki Market, I had to stop for a snack. There is so much amazing food here. Starting off, we have amazing grilled eel. That smells amazing. And then after that, I couldn't help myself. The biggest oyster I've literally ever seen. I don't know how I'm gonna get this down, but I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna try. Look at that. It's literally standing. That's incredible. That is so good. It's literally oozing with flavor. I'm a late convert to the grilled eel. Only recently have I started to eat it, and I've developed quite the taste. It is the Japanese, they know how to cook it so well. Moving on to the biggest oyster I've ever seen in my life. Let's put some lemon on it. Look at how white that is. Look at that. Oh my god, it's just dripping everywhere. Touch of vinegar. Touch of soy sauce. A little bit more than a touch. Alright, how am I eating this? Chopsticks, and let's try with chopsticks. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? And the freshness. It tastes like the ocean's got that creamy oyster flavor, taste, texture, consistency. You know what I mean. Wow. Alright, let's see what else we can find.
Big tree, very good.
Sorry?
It's delicious. Yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy?
Yummy, yummy.
Is this the best ones?
Yummy, yummy.
The best?
It's jumbo. Hello, ni hao, 샤츠. 여기요, 제가 저기, it's small, it's big.
That's very big.
Same.
Same. I'll get one.
One piece, 3 piece, 900. It's big, 3 piece, 2,500.
900 for me.
900. What?
Let's do one. One, please. Yes.
Just one?
Yes.
Okay, 900. I go go to the sorry. Spring, 800. Hello. Seasoning, salt, lemon, choice, mayonnaise, spicy. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you
so much. Yummy.
Yummy, yummy.
If you're down here, Nishiki, come down for prawn skewers. They're amazing.
Very,
Yummy.
yummy.